Hello and welcome back. What I'd like to do is to remind you about habit number 9. Now, all the habits that I've gone through, I believe, are what we call forefather wisdom. In other words, they're not doctrines, they're not laws, religions or anything like that. They're just simple statements which, when you look at them closely, I'm sure there's a few distinctions or changes you could make in your life which would allow you to instantly take control. So habit number 9, it's what I call self-discovery. Practice forgiveness of others and self. What do I mean? Well, forgiveness is not the same as reconciliation, excusing or even condoning those that have allowed to hurt you mentally or emotionally. Nor is it about denying your own pain or self-suffering. What it's about is realizing that if you have a chip on your shoulder or have some sort of pain attached to an event that occurred in the past that, say, somebody did to you or somebody said to you or whatever it was, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to let it go. Now, it sounds an easy thing just to let it go. What I mean by that is, what you'll be able to do is to redirect this to understand what you actually learned from that situation. Because, as I've said before, if it's true that everyone is a mirror in our lives, then how they show up and what they do, they teach you and me that we're different. That we wouldn't do that, we wouldn't say that, we wouldn't behave that way, or anything along those lines. Now, you all know of Nelson Mandela. I think it was about 26 years that the man was in jail. And one of his wonderful quotes was, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." It doesn't work like that. Now, when he left his jail, he actually forgave his jailors, because if he didn't, he'd still be in there. And Michael Beckwith, PhD, once said that too many people are living in a prison that they themselves manufactured. In other words, it's up here. So we hold on to something because our ego had its nose put out because it wouldn't have behaved or said in a certain fashion, whatever it was. Remember, there is zero power in the past and zero power in the future, wherever the past and future is. However, there is power in the now. So, where in your life have you not let go or forgiven somebody else? I'll give you an example. One lady I did some work with, it actually came out that she was raped when she was 9 years old. Now, this woman had held on to that for 55 years. So every relationship she'd had, she'd sabotaged it, because in her mind, obviously men weren't worthy, and she obviously felt dirty, disgusted. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not condoning what actually went on. That was not correct behaviour, and she had every right to feel the way she did 55 years ago. But to hold on to that negativity for 55 years and to create this so-called negative storm about men and relationships, that didn't serve her, nor did it serve the people that she co-created in her life. But once she realised that it was a wonderful opportunity for her to look at it from a different point of view, remember the law of polarity. So how else could that look? Rather than feeling violated and dirty and weak, as it could be seen perhaps as those are some sort of descriptions to rape, maybe from now she could feel stronger, she could feel more independent, she could maybe even teach people who have been raped before what they could do to find another passion or another purpose. There are many people, there's another client that springs to mind who actually, he has a lot of FUs about his parents, more specifically his dad and how his dad treated him. Again, whatever the situation is, there's another way of looking at it. So if you want something to change, then that's something you have to change the way you look at it. And I suppose with most things, a lot of people say, well, I can forgive them. Great. But then what about forgiving yourself? I remember a girlfriend of mine who had actually got beaten up really badly by her former partner, and you know, had pictures taken, bruises and all the rest of it, and this guy ultimately got arrested and got put in jail for a while. Now initially there was a lot of resentment about that, and she kept talking about it and bringing it up. The thing is eventually she was able to forgive him. The greatest challenge for her was to forgive herself for having put herself in that situation with alcohol being involved and all the other things. And that was a longer journey. Now I do recommend that you go to Byron Katie's website, because if you are causing yourself some sort of suffering from holding on to something that's in your past, wherever the past is, that is not a genius formula. I'll tell you why. Because you teach others to behave that way, and that doesn't serve them either. Remember, it's not what you tell them, it's how you show up. So please, if you have any sort of anger or frustration about another, turn it around and ask yourself a question. What can you learn from this? Perhaps that you would never do again. What could you do right now to create a win out of this situation? You know, have you ever heard the saying that one day you'll be able to look back and laugh on that situation? One day. If that's true, why wait? Because waiting causes suffering. Do it now. Right now you can do something about it. And it always starts with you. I mean, you've heard of even families that don't even talk to one another. I remember very close to home actually, friend of mine whose mum and their grandma wouldn't speak to their mum, their daughter, for 14 years. For 14 years. Why? Because she then left her former husband, and they just wouldn't accept it. 14 years they hadn't communicated. Wow! All that suffering that had gone on. Now I realise that obviously the grandparent wouldn't have done that, would never have left her husband and been married for, 60 odd years. But remember, it's about another. It's not about her. So you learn more about yourself. Remember, what you see is a reality anyway. So please, do not hold on to those chips on your shoulders, those gripes, those angst, those kinks, whatever you want to call them. Let them go. But you need to ask or direct your super brain a smarter question to get you away from there. It's a choice. It's an invite. Give it a go. See if it works for you. I remember another great quote. Elizabeth Kenny said, he who angers you conquers you. So if you feel angry about somebody, they're beating you already. What was that Gandhi once said? What was it? I think I've got a great quote on here about it actually. Well, Eckhart Tolle says a great one. He says, all suffering is ego created and is due to resistance. What is there to resist? Byron Katie does really well at that one actually. Bob Perk says, don't blame others for your failure to be fully accountable for your own life. If others are to blame, then you have given them control. Remember, you take control. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attitude of the strong. That's what Gandhi said. And I believe that's a truth. So where in your life do you need to pick up the phone and even just apologise or meet with somebody, maybe get it off the chest how you feel, but don't hold on to it. There's stack loads of research to show those that hold on to those kind of negative feelings, they're just digging an early grave for themselves. It's stressful on the physical body. So please, take control now. Forgiveness. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now.